Dream big, plan smart, build wealth. This is the TFS podcast, where money talk gets real and financial freedom is more than just a goal. Without further ado, let's dive in.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the TFS Wealthcast. And today's episode, we're going to talk about migrating in your 30s.
Your late 30s.
In your late 30s,
Yeah.
So, because we've seen a lot of people, they migrate with their families to Australia. They have good careers in countries, for example, Sri Lanka. A lot of people migrating from Sri Lanka. They achieve high ranks in their careers, respective careers, and then they make the full shift to migrate to Australia, better future for their kids or whatnot. So
Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan.
Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan.
A lot of people come from different parts of the world.
Africa. Some people even come from the UK, with everything happening in the UK these days. So Promo, I thought, you'd be the best person, one of the best people in our team to shed some light on this, to reflect, that I can really talk about on this episode.
Okay, I'll try to do my best.
Yeah. So Promo, before we start, on this topic, I'd like you to take us back. To when you came to Australia. Of course, you were.
I didn't come in my late 30s.
You didn't come in your late 30s. You were actually quite young. You came.
In your
20s. Early 20s.
Very early 20s.
Very early 20s. Yeah. So you've seen Australia transition as well, right? From the people who are migrating when you came versus the large number of people who are migrating today, and then also so many social and cultural issues that's taken place in Australia. So, what did you do when you arrived in Australia initially?
So Vijay, when I came here, I came here as a student, right? So obviously, the focus was to go to university and do your course, do your subjects, and then get a part-time job, earn a bit of coin, and have a bit of fun as well. So life was simple, I would say. But then, as you mentioned before, there are a lot of things that have changed from that time to now. Your everyday expenses have increased significantly. But at the same time, the average income that you can earn here in Australia also have increased from those days to now. So I'm talking about I'm just giving my age away. I'm not that shy. It's about 20 years ago, right? So
this is naughty 40s.
Early 40s now. So lot have changed. Your usual groceries expense to your normal utilities and also the types of jobs that are available, right? So quite a lot of things. I wish there was Uber back in those days. Could have earned a bit of money.
So pocket money on the side, yeah.
So but we didn't have those kind of options. But there are a lot of options now. But today's subject is about, as you mentioned, about
migrating in your late 30s.
Yeah. So late 30s, most of the time when people migrate, they come with their family's wife. Most cases, your kids as well, right? So you have a lot to...
Exactly. I mean, it's not just moving to a new country. Like when you're a student, you move to a new country. One of the main things you'll find is friends. You can find friends.
Yeah.
But when you come in your late 30s with your families, it's not just finding friends. You have to rebuild your maybe income stream. You find a job if you already haven't. Then you have to kind of rebuild your identity.
Yeah.
Because back home, people know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you were in a top management position or a high-ranking position, people know who you are.
Yeah.
And also, if you're a Sri Lankan small community, people know.
Absolutely.
But if you come to Australia, you got to start from.
Yeah. So it's a mindset shift, right? So quite a lot of people, quite a lot of friends of mine migrated their late 30s as well. So I think that's why this episode is very good. I reckon we can share some experiences that I have come across with my friends who migrated late 30s and some of our customers who have done that as well and how they are doing. So it's a mindset shift no matter what,
100%.
right? So like you mentioned, you come from a place that you are well recognized, good income, beautiful life. You don't need to worry about some cases. You have, nannies, drivers, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a luxury life. Some of my friends who came from Sri Lanka. So, but when you come here, you're not gonna have a nanny. You're not gonna have a chef in your house unless you're
I mean, if you have a chef in your house, I don't know why you're giving all that up and coming here.
right. So you have to start from somewhere.
And also, there's a lot of emotional pressure as well,
Absolutely.
right? Like,
So there are many reasons. So you have to understand why these guys, these individuals are moving from a comfortable position to a position to start again, the reset. So certain drivers such as better education for their children or better or brighter future for their children. That's a common fact. And then some cases, career growth or career change altogether, right? So there are different drivers here.
yeah,
So depending on that driver, your mindset must change accordingly.
Yeah.
Right. So I always advise to my friends and clients who come there and they want to start their life in Australia. I said, look, first thing you got to do, think that you're not going to have the same life that you had in Sri Lanka here.
100%. Yeah.
It is a blank canvas. You write it the way you want to write it. You don't have to do what others are currently doing here as well. You can actually do whatever you want. So if you want to get a job, high-paid job, or if you want to change your career, you're in a country that allows you to do it. But you need to have the determination to do it.
100%.
Australia is never going to come and give you the job. You got to go and ask for the job or get the job that you need. So it's one of those countries. So most of the guys, most of the people who migrate here, they understand that. So they go through the process, and some go through the process of getting a job and working their way up towards the career ladder. Some start their own business, right? Some go through. Some actually, I know people who go back to school and career change altogether. So that you have to do it no matter what. And then you also need to understand.
So you would say the first step is to have a mindset reset.
Absolutely.
And then, prep your mind.
Yeah.
And then step 2 would be what we call a money reset, because you need to find income stability, right? You need to have some cash buffers. You need to understand the Australian system, because it's completely different to how
the parts of the world works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So the question I have for you is, if one of your friends were to move from Sri Lanka, right, to Australia, what are the first money moves you'd suggest them to focus on without getting lost in complex strategies? Let's keep it simple,
The first money move.
Yeah.
Don't try to replace your lifestyle here.
Yeah.
It's going to be very expensive. I'm talking about my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, in the context of your friends,
Yeah.
the lifestyle they had back home.
Yeah. It's going to be very expensive if you're going to start going out for dinners and nightlife.
Are you saying your friends are party animals?
Oh, yeah, most of my friends are party animals. That's why I like to go back to Sri Lanka for holidays. You have to reset that little bit there, right? So, and also you need to have a set of funds in a savings account. Especially when you're coming in your late 30s, when you have kids, right, wife, right, you have to have a bit of money in your kitty. Because first thing you got to do, find a house to rent, right? You're not going to buy a house straight away. You got to find a place to rent. You have to find that property in a location where your children are going to go to school. Now, this school could be a public school, could be semi-government, or it could be fully private. So if it's private, you gotta have a bit of a bit more cash in your savings account because private schools are not cheap.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah, right. So you have to have that.
Yeah.
So you need to start doing your financial planning way before you're buying that ticket to come to Australia.
Yeah.
You got to start doing it.
Talk to
So
you.
that's it itself. You got to do that, right? So you have to understand also now you got to go and buy a vehicle to commute. Or are you planning on doing public transport? Most people, no, they won't do public transport.
Especially depending on where they're going to live here.
Yeah. So then the question comes with, are you going to buy a expensive car, or are you going to buy a car that can go from A to B? First year. It may not be $100,000 car. It can be a $30,000 car or $20,000 car that works. So these kind of decisions you have to make, right? But then, as you know, Vishy, in Australia, you get a phone plan. That everything is expensive, right? Even though it's a country that looks, it's not that expensive, but it is very expensive if you really think about it. So you get a plan, right? Your food, what kind of food you're gonna buy and cook. Cooking, that's another thing. So that's a mindset shift towards a lot of people here, right? So
from having someone cook your food for you, coming in and having to cook your food for
yourself, right? So in some cases you might have to take some lessons how to cook food.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your children are going to be very, very hungry. So cranky children is not going to be.
So my mom always says, marry someone who can cook.
See now, now you're going to a place that not in Australia.
No, but I learned how to cook as well. So,
there you go. So you have figured it out.
So your marriage, please,
exactly.
They don't have to cook.
Yeah. So
they just have to eat.
Things like that. You got to plan. You got to put certain things in place. So you have to have a financial plan, financial strategy before you make the move.
Yeah.
Right. So speak to people that you know in Australia who's currently living. Ask them, how much does this cost?
Yeah.
I need to buy a 7-seater vehicle because my family is large. How much is a 7-seater vehicle?
I mean, good thing that second-hand vehicles are not affordable in this country. So,
not like in Sri Lanka.
Especially if you're coming from Sri Lanka, you're going to go crazy. You're going to be like, whoa, I can drive
one of these.
I can drive. Yeah.
You can get carried away as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's very important to do the financial planning and financial strategy before you make that move. And keep a budget. Right? And have a little bit of room to wiggle it as well.
Basically, you're saying, to one of your friends, you'd say, firstly, avoid the lifestyle catch-up that you had back in your home country.
At least for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Until you figure it out.
Yeah. And spend wisely. And get a plan of action.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So with that, then we were talking about, not rushing into buying a property. Start by renting. But then, of course, since they are your friends, you would advise them to look into getting into the property market and start building their wealth, right?
Absolutely.
So when people say, I want to buy a property, promote to you, what are the 3 clarifying questions you ask to stop them making emotional decisions?
Buying a property for yourself to live with, especially when you have children, it is an emotional decision. So when you're making emotional decisions, you need to understand how to bring the financial aspect to the emotion.
So basically you're saying, they need to, you try to explain to them or make them understand the difference between wanting a home and building a strategy.
Okay, so let's put it this way.
Yeah.
So I don't ask this from my clients. I ask from one of my friends as an example. Do you want to drink Johnny Walker Red Label, or do you want to keep drinking, a single malt? What would you like to do? So if you start go and put all your money in a property that, as well as getting a mortgage, so 60 to 70% of your net income goes towards your mortgage, you'll be drinking red label, right?
Yeah.
So then my friends would say, no way.
Yeah.
I don't want. I want to keep drinking my
Single
drinks.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's think about it. So you need to have this amount of money. You need to have this amount of freedom. So then don't go and lock yourself into a mortgage and commit yourself for 70% of your net income.
Just to clarify, this example, when I'm putting down anyone who drink,
No.
who likes drinking red label, it's just
just an example.
for this example,
$40 whiskey versus $150 whiskey.
Yeah.
Just an example, right? So I tell them there's a rule that I ask them to follow, which is 50, 30, 20. Right. So 50% of your net income needs to go towards your rent or mortgage and your everyday expenses, the most essentials, right? Your gas bills, electricity, food, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Then 30% of your net income needs to be for your lifestyle purpose. Whatever the whiskey you like to.
30%.
30%.
Okay.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you want to buy a vehicle that you really wanted to buy it, but make sure it's within the 30%. 20% non-negotiable, you gotta go to the savings. Right. So no matter what you do.
Bank, like a savings account, a bank account,
Savings
or
account.
Is that to invest?
Savings account. So that's when you start, you can't invest straight away, right? So you gotta start building. So 20% needs to go there. Right, so 20, 30, 50. Savings goes first, 20% goes away, 30% for your lifestyle, remainder 50% for your essentials. If you follow that, then it'll be right here.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to go and copy somebody else's lifestyle, because that person 50, 30, 20 is very different to your 50, 30, 20.
Yeah. And also they would have been here much longer.
Right. So they're established. They may have a very, very small loan to pay for your mortgage. So their monthly repayment could be much cheaper than you when you start. So things like that. So that's one of the things I always advise. Right. So 20, 30, 50 or whatever the way you want to call it, 50, 30, 20.
Yeah.
Stick to that, you'll be fine.
Speaking of financial mistakes that new migrants would make, you were talking about buying a vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? What is your advice to people who want to get a car loan and buy? Because again, the prices of vehicles here, it's relatively low compared to countries like Sri Lanka, Singapore, where the vehicles are taxed very highly. So people would go crazy, right? Some people would even take out a loan to buy a vehicle. So touch a bit on that. So let's rank your 5 mistakes that you see migrants making when they move here.
It's a very tricky question, right? Because when you want to buy a vehicle that you really, really like to buy, you have 2 options. One, you can dip into your savings. There you go, $80,000, $100,000. I want to buy that vehicle. Or you can just dip into 20% of your savings and get a loan of an 80% and start paying repayments over 5 years or 7 years.
Yeah.
The vehicles in Australia relatively goes down in the value. It's a depreciating asset. Right. Yeah. So you gotta have a plan. If you're taking a loan, you gotta have a plan. This expense that you're bringing into yourself is within that 30% or 30%, which I mentioned to you about on your net income. It's everything changes of your net income. Right. People who make mistakes are the people who go and spend 50% of their savings for lifestyle purposes.
Yeah.
So some could argue, so Pramod, what you're saying, you're saying go and get a loan. If you do your numbers right, absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Use the bank's money. Why do you have to use your money?
Yeah.
right? So be smart about it. But again, you have to understand what your net income is going to be. So when you're migrating, you don't know exactly what your net income going to be.
Yeah.
So then I will tell, hold on, maybe just buy a car or vehicle that can take you from A to B for the first 6 months, figure it out. Once you know your net income, you get a good idea how quickly you can also go in the corporate ladder. Or if you're starting a business, how quickly you can start earning more net income for yourself or for your household. Then you can make these kind of decisions, not straight away. People who make those kind of decisions straight away, it's a recipe for disaster. Buying a property without understanding where you're going to be in the next 2 years, it's another disaster I have seen. They just go and spend a lot of money, get a large mortgage, and 2 years later, or less than 2 years, they decide, my son now needs to go to this school, I gotta sell, blah, blah, blah.
So that's a more emotionally driven decision.
Yeah.
Right? Buying a big house, fancy house,
It's
going all out,
it's an ego problem.
maximizing your borrowing.
Yeah. It's an ego problem.
Yeah.
Right. So you come with the larger houses or bigger places in where the country that you come from. Your ego doesn't let you to go and rent in a smaller house, right? And I'm not blaming it. It's normal, but you have to be better than that because you have already made a decision to move countries.
Yeah.
It's not an easy decision, especially in your late 30s. So you have done a very hard decision.
Yeah.
So this is easy. Hold on, figure it out first, and then get into these kind of things. Right. So these are the some of the mistakes I have seen. And the third one I would say, copying others.
Yeah, we did touch on that a bit before
Yeah.
as well, but
Yeah. I've seen that a lot too. Again, man, recipe for disaster. You can't copy somebody else. Learn the good things, learn the bad things, then apply it yourself.
I mean, imitation is a flattery anyways, right?
So those are the three things I've seen so far, or what I commonly see.
What about because you have I've heard you give this advice before. Aligning like when someone's married and they come here, you have to get like if you have a plan, you have a strategy, you have to get your partner to align with your with that plan, with those goals as well, right? Or if not, what happens is you've got a plan, but your partner's not in line, and that could affect the long-term journey as well, right? So would you consider that as advice you would give someone who's considering a full lifestyle change by moving to
get your partner aligned?
To get your partner in line with the plan. So if you've got a plan for yourself, don't just keep it to yourself. Talk to her or him, see what they want to do. Because if you've got kids, you've got to get the...
I thought they're supposed to do that anyway.
Yeah, but then we've seen people who, have messed up.
I mean, look, it's common sense.
Yeah.
Right. Common sense.
Because it's easy for people to get lost once they come here. So many things are accessible.
Yeah.
Also, right? And so many other influences, good and bad.
Yeah.
So it's easy for someone's mind to just get consumed or overwhelmed and just go off track.
Yeah.
So these are all things that people should be wary of as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to have a communication. You have to have a proper communication between yourselves.
Yeah.
Right, because you're doing it together. End of the day, you're not just packing your wife or packing your husband in a bag and you go, oh, there you go. Now
It's not just the fun stuff you do
No.
together.
So it's the communication must happen no matter what. That's not negotiable. That's why I said I assume that. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. If you're not doing that, maybe
the decision to move would be much riskier than you think.
Yeah.
So And then we also spoke about, now you said save 20%, non-negotiable. So you would clarify that as a buffer. So you would have a buffer. You should have a buffer.
Not you bring when you move countries, you bring certain amount of money anyway, right? That goes to the savings.
How much would you think for the average income holder? Let's say for someone who's earning about $70,000 or $60,000 a year, right? For someone like that who's moving from another country, what is an amount of money, a sufficient amount of money do you think they would have to bring in savings when they're making a shift like this? Because if they haven't already found a job here, once they come here, it's just expenses until they can start getting some income.
Yeah, first thing you got to work out is where you're gonna live.
Yeah,
right. If you don't have family or friends that gonna give you a place to live rent free, you got to work out your rent amount, right? So most cases between 30 to 40K.
Yeah, because monthly rent would be around $2,500 to $3,500 depending on where you're gonna buy a place, right?
Yeah. So utility bills, petrol, transport cost, your essentials, food.
So for a family, husband, wife, and 2 kids, let's say small kids, right, 10 and 12 years old, for argument's sake. For a family like that, if they're moving to Australia, how much of a buffer should they have for savings? Should they have?
I reckon they should have bare minimum. This is bare minimum. I would say 70,000 bare minimum.
70.
Because that will cover a year's worth of rent for you in case you don't get a job.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a place to live.
Yeah.
And also gives you an opportunity to live.
I mean, you have to eat.
You have to eat. Okay. You have to, your electricity, all these things gonna come into play, right? So I mean, my personal opinion would be a minimum of $70,000 you should bring if in a situation like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends. End of the day, as I mentioned, if you have family and friends here who's going to give you rent-free places to stay until you find a job, you may not need certain. But it's always good to have something above 50K.
Yeah. All right. So Prabhu, now let's say you, your wife, and your kids, you were in Sri Lanka, right? And let's say you were doing big time job in a bank. You like the banking.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
If you were making the move now to Australia, take us through how you would do it.
Oh, I mean, I just keep it very simple. I'll have a look at.
Let's go with budgeting. Or how much would you budget?
First thing I will look at is the schools for children.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the decisions I have to make, whether they're gonna go to private school or not.
Okay.
Because that will determine where I'm gonna live.
Yeah.
How I'm gonna live. If I decide I'm gonna put my kids to private school, then you gotta put for the whole year at least about $80,000.
Yeah.
Right. So 80K. See you later.
Yeah. That's just for schools.
That's for school.
Yeah.
So depending on where the schools are located, then you gotta find a place to live.
Yeah.
Whether it's a rent or to buy. So let's assume that we're gonna go to rent. I won't go down the path of buying. I'll probably go with rent.
Yeah.
Location might change your expense, rent expense from $30,000 to can go to even $100,000 depending on where you want to rent.
What kind of house you want to
rent. So have that incorporated in your budget. Then a buffer for your essentials, food, medicines, transport, these kind of things. Put that there. Then lifestyle as well. Don't tell me you're gonna come. I am not gonna move to Australia and just stuck myself in the house, just go to work and come home and don't do anything. It's not gonna work. So I need to have funds for my lifestyle purpose. I'll probably have about 25 to 30% of my lifestyle purpose per year there, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing I look at, finding a job. Maybe finding a job before I come here.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I might come here just by myself first.
Suss it out.
Find the place, get a job, get myself ready, right? So things like that, right? So it's mitigating your certain risks.
Yeah.
So I would keep it very simple in that way. So I mean, it can be vice versa. I mean, my partner might come before me if she has a better chance of finding a job than me, right? So work it out. Communication is important, like you said before. Work that out. Put everything into a budget. That way, you're safe. You have a years, or at least I would say bare minimum half a year. Look, half a year, 6 months gonna go very quickly. 12 months would be the one that I would do my budgeting and planning. And if there's any assets in the place I'm currently living, I'll probably start offloading them as well. Because if I'm making a move from that country to this country, what I'm going to do with those assets?
Yeah.
Right.
Might as well utilize that
to
build something here.
Absolutely.
Right. So in terms of jobs, what kind of jobs would you recommend? Or what kind of jobs would you look at getting into initially as you come here?
In the same context where I was a banker?
Yeah.
I'm in banking.
Try to get into a bank.
Yeah, because that's what you know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my mindset.
Exactly.
I'd rather get into the place I know and work myself. I give myself a chance to become successful that way.
But you're a killer salesman, right?
Yeah.
So would you advise people to take a risk and get into sales?
I mean, if you're a killer salesman, yes, get on to sales.
Yeah.
Because that's what you know how to do. If you're not a salesman, don't get on to sales. You're gonna struggle.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like this has been a very in-depth episode, right? Someone migrating in their 30s. So now let's talk. When they do want to get into buying their first property, what are some tips you would give them on some advice?
Yeah, good one. So it's let's fast track in a year, and you're working in a year, and you saved up 20. If you have done that 20% net savings, you built up a good savings amount on top of the buffer that you had. Simple fundamentals again, where you want to live, easy commute for your children to go to school, for you maybe easy commute for you to go to the place that you work.
Again, would you say don't buy this property based on, don't make this decision based on emotion, right? Because now we spoke about this when they look at where they want to put their kids to school.
But we see these are emotional decisions, though, right?
Yeah.
Because you're making decisions based on your children, based on your work.
Yeah.
These are emotional decisions. Now, non-emotional decisions are, okay, I'm going to buy this property because I'm going to make a 20% out of it in the next 6 months, 12 months time. Therefore, my investment is X amount. I can borrow X amount. My repayment, that is not emotional. That is based on investment numbers.
Okay, so let's bring an example into this, and I'll put you in this example, right? So now, okay, you moved, you worked in a bank, you moved here. Let's say you put your kids to school in Glen Waverley Primary, right? As we all know, it's one of the most sought after schools.
The Glen Waverley Primary is a public school, right?
Yeah, primary and the Glen Waverley Secondary.
Yeah.
So
I don't need to worry about school business. Okay,
exactly. Now, let's say you started renting in Glen Waverley when you moved here. Now, fast forward 1 year, you're looking at buying a property.
Yeah.
Would you buy a property, look at buying a property, let's say a townhouse in Glen Waverley? Or would you buy a house and land in an area like Berwick or Officer, which would generate you more equity and rental income, right?
Why you think the Glen Waverley townhouses won't give you equity?
I mean, when you compare the growth corridors of officer, when we look at house and land packages, right?
Your entry point is low. That doesn't mean necessarily you're going to gain more equity there.
Yeah. But then the property pricing is also very high. And as a first home buyer, you have a first home buyer benefits.
Absolutely. So it comes to the fact of your
The first
needs.
home, yeah.
What can you afford? You know?
Yeah. Let's say, okay, you maximize your borrowing and you can go up to 1.2 million. Right?
And you borrow the maximum.
And you borrow the maximum.
Yeah.
Or you utilize all your first home buyer benefits.
Yeah.
And then you because if you can go up to 1.2 million to buy a small townhouse in Glenville,
yeah,
you can buy a nice house and land in Berlin or in Officer.
Yeah.
Right? So what would you do?
I probably look at what are the benefits? Custom bonus grant 10K, stamp duty savings 50, 60K. Right. Right. I mean, opposed to that, exactly. Buying a land, no, you don't pay. So now your $70,000 you got to pocket out if you decide to get Beverly, versus that side.
Yeah. And also you're maximizing your borrowing. If you're
maximizing borrowing as well, right? So your entry point is higher. Your mortgage repayments are much higher. Now, okay, 70,000, I got to pocket out, maybe more, not 70K, a lot more than that to buy a 1.2.
Yeah.
So then I look at, all right, so I borrow maximum, I put $120,000 of my savings towards this property.
One in Glenville.
Yeah. Am I within my 50-30-20 rule? I still ask that question.
Yeah.
If it says yes, personally, I'll buy that in Glenville, personally. Because for me, quick commute, I prefer.
Convenience.
It's convenient for me. Right?
But this is a small 2-bedroom townhouse.
Right. Again, my preference,
yeah.
Quick.
Okay. Yes, convenience.
But then if my preferences are like, no, I need a bigger backyard, I need a bigger house, I like entertainment, so therefore I need to have space to entertain. Now for me to compare that house in the same location, which I really like to stay in Waverly, that's going to cost me about 2.2, maybe $3 million. Can I do it? No, that's not within my 50-30-20 rule. So then I'll go to Merrick, or that side of the town, and I'll buy that. What I'm going to sacrifice or compromise is the commute time or the convenience side of it. So compromisation, whether you like it or not, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to stay in Waverly in a 2-bedroom townhouse, what I compromise is the space. Right? Yeah. So that it all comes to that. Now we are talking about what? We're talking about emotions. So learn how to compromise your emotions as well.
Yeah.
So 1 year later, if you're going to make that move, a lot of people can't make that move, or a lot of people struggle to make that decision actually because they don't know what to compromise. So I want a bigger house, but I want to stay in Mount Waverly or Glen Waverly. But you don't have the budget for it.
So if you look at this first property purchase, purely from an investment point of view, right? Forget the convenience. Purely from an investment point of view, then would your thought process change?
Totally different. If it's purely for investment purpose, I'm doing this, and I'm only going to stay there for a year.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Then
if I have to go back and I'll do it.
Yeah.
If it's investment purpose, you want to drive for a good 1.5 hours, I'll do it. Just investment, because I'm earning money. My money is earning money for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Very different mindset.
Because that way your deposit is lower, your repayments are low, you have more money withheld.
Yeah.
And you can use that.
And then years later, I go back where I need to be, and then I have an investment property is earning rental income, giving me tax benefits, right? So which means more net income for me, which enables me to borrow more or save more to invest or to buy my lifestyle property.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah.
So you're increasing your 20% basically of your savings by doing that.
And then maybe 5 years down the line, you'll be able to buy a property.
You will be able to buy
Yeah.
a $3 million house. Right.
Whereas if you bought the Glen Waverley property first up, it'll be a little bit more harder for you.
It won't be, I mean,
It won't be as easy.
it won't be as easy unless you increase your income significantly. Right?
Yeah.
Won't be that easy. Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so every decision, the outcome is derived from how you make that decision.
Absolutely. That's why I always say to my friends, even our clients who come here for advice, it's all about up here, right? If you have changed your mindset to succeed in Australia, you can do it. But then along this path, there are things, sacrifices, compromising, right? There are a lot of things you got to do.
Yeah. Like Jim Carrey says, if you're not willing to compromise your lifestyle today for the lifestyle you can have tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, I mean it's you have to think about it this way, right? If somebody gives you an opportunity to work hard when you're early 20s, so and that person tells you, okay, if you work hard from 20 to 25, you'll be able to go and enjoy your life or travel to whatever the places you like to go and enjoy it to the max. Next example would be there could be a person who wants to travel. He's 20, right? Savings or a loan from your parents or getting a loan from a bank, $20,000 you got. Yes, you can have fun. You're young, more energy, you can go crazy. But imagine if you work hard and you ended up having, instead of $20,000, $50,000 while you're 25. What kind of fun can you have then?
kind of fun, I can't talk about it.
Right. So you have to think that way. You have to put your hours or yards, what you need to do to achieve what you desire. Right? So it comes to the same fact for any migrant, late 30s who come to Australia to go and make a good life for themselves, make a good life for their children. Make sure you come with a mindset to put.
It's all about the mindset.
Yeah, put more yards, put more time into it.
Yeah.
Don't expect,
Keep all your achievements and everything.
Don't hope for the best.
Plan for the worst.
I was about to say something that I would have regret, but it came out very nicely. Don't hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right? Do the things for the best.
Don't just depend on prayers.
That's another way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, from this episode, I'm pretty sure it can help a lot of people who have made the move to Australia recently or who are planning on making the move, so they can really benefit from this episode. And I think it's quite a long episode today.
Yeah, we share a bit of information,
Yeah.
what to do, what not to do, and some of the mistakes that people make. Look, if anybody wants to, talk to us about it, always just reach out. Or if you have any questions about anything,
Yeah. You want to buy a property? Talk to us. You want to get a home loan for a property?
we'll make a comment here as
Talk
well.
to us. You want financial planning? Talk to us. TFS, we have it all.
we got it covered, and it comes from the passion as well. It comes from certain life experience as well, as a migrant. So there are quite a lot of things we could teach.
Yeah, Promo's been through a lot of battles, But right now he has a young workforce. He's becoming more Gen Z than the Gen Zers that work for him.
I don't know whether I made a mistake of getting a Gen Z guys to work, but it's fun.
I swear we don't stress him out as much.
Very cool place to work.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. And Promo, before we wrap up this episode, anything else you want to leave with the guys?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of migrating to Australia, it's a beautiful country. Migrate, but make sure you work. You do something better than you were doing before as well, but work towards it.
Yeah.
You may not do it straight away. You'll be able to work towards something better for yourself as well as for your children.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Focus on yourself.
Financial plans are very important, so do a budget as well.
Yeah, and don't compete with others. So.
Don't copy others. Won't work.
All right, guys. That being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the TFS Wealthcast, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
All right. Take care.
Amen.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the TFS podcast, where we turn knowledge into action and big goals into real results. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode with someone working towards their next financial step. Now, with that being said, until next time, keep building.